Saturday, Coach.
Yeah, huge team billion, and I mean, it's what we talked about was just being able to come away in all three phases: offense, defense, and special teams, and being able to have that kind of team win against that kind of opponent, a ranked opponent in this conference, a good football team. We were able to come out and do those things. So really excited about that victory. Was able to pull a lot of positives from it, a lot of things to build on going forward, as we hit this stretch of right here in the middle of conference play. So excited about it, motivated about it, and just determined about our guys. And again, our guys came out, played with a lot of effort, a lot of physicality, and then we're able to combine it with execution, in all three phases.
Coach, can you talk about the offensive line? I know there were injuries. You're 3 deep at the center position. No mistakes made with bad snaps or exchanges or anything like that, and we're able to come back and have two scoring drives after we've gone down to the third down. I just was very impressed with their effort and how it worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a huge team deal as well, and myself as well impressed with just that situation and how those young men, handled that, and just those guys being prepared for that opportunity in that moment. We talked to our football team about that. We ended up playing 3 of those guys on Saturday. And those guys going out and being successful in what they did. So that was huge. That was huge for our team. It was just to show the unselfishness and just showed, how just the proven point of you got to be prepared, and you don't know when that moment's going to come or when that opportunity is going to come. And for both of those guys, they were ready and went out and were able to perform and execute, at the level we needed that to happen at.
And Coach, the process of building the program, every team kind of wants that signature win to kind of let them know that they arrived. Would you consider Saturday's win to be that?
It was a big win. It was a big win, and just the type of win that it was, that we were able to have the success in all 3 phases and go down and do the things that we did. I mean, it was a big win. I don't know if I would tab at that. The wins we've had previous to that have been big too. Just continue to get this program at the standard and that we wanted, at the level that we wanted, to come back and year in and year out, be a competitive team and a team at the top of this conference, and then going on to be able to compete at a national level. So those are things that are still in building. Every day that we come to work and our guys show up to work in that process of, and I mean, we're definitely taking steps in that direction. Every day, and extremely proud of our guys, again, for how they went out and played, just the energy, the effort, the togetherness that we played with on Saturday was huge, and definitely a positive,
You talk about the process a lot. How important was it to get success with that process? Because in the past couple weeks you said you guys were close, but this time you actually have something to show them and kind of then lead to the next step.
Yeah, it's huge, and we talked about that last week in here, just talking about how close we were and away from those other 2 games, and going out and being able to win and go finish a game. I talked about that after the game, just battle and finish, and our guys were able to go do that. That was huge. It'd be huge going forward. And one thing I talked to our guys about is just making sure that even through a win that you're still disciplined and still detailed. Sometimes winning can be a dangerous band-aid, and you still got to be detailed. You still got to be disciplined through that. As you're continuing to create and set the standard and the culture as you go forward. So, we definitely took all the positives, and we took the mistakes that we made and pointed those out and corrected those, and in the process of making sure we don't repeat that going forward. But it was huge to be able to come away with the victory on Saturday again against a quality opponent.
Would you say Saturday was the best that your team has responded to adversity, given the large comeback they have, and then you guys kind of went back and forth in the fourth quarter? Would you say that was the best the team responded to it?
Yeah, we've played in a couple of games where we've been, where it's been back and forth and the momentums have shifted. I think our guys have stayed focused through that. I think they've done a good job of staying level, not necessarily riding that wave of emotion. And I thought our guys did a good job of that again on Saturday. And again, it was good to go, through those shift changes and then again, be able to come out right there, to go score late, obviously kick off to them, have our defense hold them, and then get the ball and right there at the end and finish the game out the way that it did. But yeah, I mean, extremely proud of our guys with that. I think it goes back to maturity. I think it goes back with, having some experienced guys who have been through some of that, just ups and downs of a football game, and just being able to, emotionally stay in check, as we play 4 quarters and we finish a football game.
Going on the road this week, obviously you've lost the 2 games you played on the road, one, to FBS. The other one was close to Abilene Christian. But is there anything you change about how you approach a road game this week to try to, get that win?
No, not as far as, our approach. I mean, our approach is we'll be going back about being disciplined, about being detailed, going back, getting on the field and being able to correct anything that was mistake-wise, that we need to get corrected. And then just continue to do the things well that we have done, and to just be better within that. And that's what we're in the process of coaching and creating. It's just a consistency of being able to go back up to practice tomorrow. Our guys know tomorrow's a work day, and we'll go to work and get ourselves in a situation as the week goes on to just improve from Tuesday all the way through Friday.
Throughout the whole year, you've stressed that you're going to have the most conditioned team out there. Did you see that in the 4th quarter?
We felt really good about it, and our guys have been, and that goes all the way back to spring when we got here. It goes to this summer, it goes to fall camp, and then just a continuation of how we practice, and then just some of the things that we make a priority in this program, and that's hydration, that's eating, that's resting. And making sure that's a priority in our guys, daily life, that when you get to Saturday, it really gives you a chance to be that kind of football team. So, that's something within our culture, that we're steadily on, and believe our guys are feeling that. I know through previous games as well, with play counts and things and how games went, our guys were in really good shape. I've talked to our guys about, being able to, continue to play, and those guys felt good about it, and just talked about the condition they're in. Coach Little and those guys have done a great job. So, it's just been good with that, and our guys have, just only steady increase with that as the season's got on.
The ability to run the ball the other night and throw the ball deep, did we see what we want the offense to be basically?
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge part of it. I mean, being able to run the football like we did, was huge. Mac had a really big night. You don't have those kind of nights without those 5 guys up front. So those guys did a great job. Then we were able to execute some throws down the field, which was huge, and just creating that rhythm and tempo, that we do like to see. So that was obviously every week we've gotten better on that side of the ball, and that was probably the best we played all season was Saturday.
What do you know about UCA? What do you expect from them?
Yeah, really good football team. Those guys are 3-2 right now. Lost to Hawaii, lost to Nichols. 2 really good football teams, FBS team, and then Nichols, I believe, was ranked 15th. I don't know if they're new in the polls. It's with that right now where we sit, but a really good Nichols team. They won against Western Kentucky and then beat Abilene in that first conference game, 31-30 in a hard-fought battle, where Abilene went down to kick a field goal, miss it right there at the end. So, really good football team. They've done a really good job there. They're balanced, offensively, defensively, all 3 phases are sound. They got a really good quarterback, big time receiver that's one of the top receivers in the conference. So really good football team.
You got you're 6 games into the season now. Do you think the team is where you thought it would be coming into the season?
I think you're just really open-minded about it when you got a first season and a first group. You set a standard of possibly what you would like to see or like to be. And I think we're really on that. I think we're on that stride of getting that, with our guys. And it's just, it's just taking growth throughout, these first 6 games, and that's in all 3 phases. And I feel really good about where we're at right now, and just, where we're at and what direction that we're headed.
And I'd say personally for you, obviously first time as a college football head coach, what have you learned from the start of the season to now that I guess you probably didn't know preseason?
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything, you know, until you go through something, you know, with somebody, especially when it's an adverse situation, or just, you know, not getting the results that everybody's working towards, or something's, you know, not right. And what you get at that moment is you really get you get a good character feel of your football team and your guys, and who each individual is, and who we are as a football team. So I think as those games have gone on, you know, every week with whatever's happened through the game, you get a real good, you know, feel and knowledge of exactly what we are as a football team, who we are, who our players are, you know, what are we as a family. And you know, when you sit here 6 games in, you know, you get a really good feel and understanding of that right now where we sit. And you know, that's probably why I say I feel really good about where we're at, the direction we still got to go. We still got work to do. You know, in the scheme standpoint, in a culture standpoint, and you know, that's something our guys are working at every day.
Coach, are you staying with Ray Bourne as your field goal kicker?
Mm-hmm. Yep, as of right now, you know, kicked really well on Saturday, and you know, he's handling it really well. You know, he's done a good job.
Are there any concerns? You know, I really don't know about a kicker that has to deal with all three. I'm not sure how prevalent that is across college football, but are there any concerns about him doing all three?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if concern is the word. I think you just gotta understand and manage the fact that guy's doing all 3 of them. I think that's the biggest thing, and obviously myself, Coach Lee Pack, had those conversations about just how to manage him through the week, you know, in a game. And the thing is, you know, about him, if we still confident and know, you know, and that's the one thing we feel good about our crew, our depth at that position, you know, so. You know, concerns, no, that's not the word I use. You just got to understand the management of that guy, you know, Bailey.
What does UCA do defensively? What are they good at?
Yeah, they're you know, they're sound. They'll mix up coverages. You know, they got good athletes on that side of the ball. You know, obviously the wins they've had against, you know, good people. Western Kentucky's a really good football team. You know, they played week 1. You know, then to go out and travel out to Hawaii, who's a good football team, and just that trip in itself. You know, and they went and played those guys, you know, really close, and you know, they're a good football team.
All right, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
I can't imagine you trip home.